We are almost there. It is. Now we're live.
There you go.
A little bit.
All
late.
right.
It's all good.
We are back with a Business Bro show guest favorite. Joe Nicassio is on our show with us again, taking advantage of this extra week, and we're ready to have some fun. James, hit the video intro, man.
Here we go.
Shut up and sit down.
The Business Bros podcast was created for you. Learn from the business professionals who come to share their stories. Find out what's working in business and social media, what's hot and what's not, straight from the mouths of successful entrepreneurs out there doing the real work. And now, welcome to another episode of
Business Bros. Time for some fire hands.
Go. I know it's SHID, so it's Thursday here on the Business Bros Pod, but it's also TBT, and we're throwing it back today and following the week's trend with yet another familiar face. Joining us today for the third time is a business coaching rock star, author, international speaker, and podcast host extraordinaire who needs no introduction, but he gets one anyway. If you're ready to quit your 9-to-5 and you need an employee plan, tune in today and learn from awesome guests who will give you the keys to your own kingdom. Joining us from EmployeeEscapePlan.com, welcome back to the show, Joe Nicassio.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Woo woo.
We are back. What's up, Joe? You ready to rock and roll today?
I'm rocking it, man.
He's rocking it and rolling it.
It's a beautiful sunny San Diego day. It's Thursday. And like everybody else, well, like a lot of people, after I did my workout and I got my audio reading in, I got all that stuff in, finally turn on my cell phone, look at the Facebook, and the first thing I see is negative news. Surprise, surprise. Facebook has removed a Donald Trump post for misinformation. And I used it.
How's that negative news, though?
Well, I used it as a conversational piece, not so much because I don't really care whether you like Trump or not or what his message is. Just the fact that somebody else has control over that whole agenda. And it made me think about you, Joe. Somebody else has control of other people's lives all the time. They're called employers. And oftentimes
The boss.
Yeah, the boss. They tell you what you can and can't say at work. They tell you what you can and can't wear at work. They tell you when to clock in, when to clock out. And you just want to get away. Joe, help me. You have an employee escape plan. What can we do?
Well, it's escape. You want to escape away from all that control. And one of the big ahas is when you take a job, you're actually giving away so much of your personal power. And you don't set what you actually do in your day. Many people are underemployed. They're doing a fraction of their real contribution to other people. And so you don't set your calendar, you don't set your time, your income is capped because somebody else is setting the rules. And so then, okay, yeah, I want to escape from that, but what do I move towards? And what you want to move towards is what I call the business happiness blueprint.
Happiness is the key, right? So, well, let me ask you this. I had this conversation with my students today, right? And I mean, these guys are 17 years old. I got a kid that has been investing in a stock portfolio and he's excited, right? He's like, man, you don't understand, Mr. CS. He's like, I made $150 today. I don't feel like I want to go to work. I feel like I've already earned what I needed to in this one transaction. Why am I going to go give up 8 hours of my day to earn like $80 after taxes? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And this is a good realization that he's having at 17. That your income is not capped by the number of hours that you put into work. But the other side of it is, okay, cool. You made that $150 on that transaction. What are you going to do with the rest of your day? What happens, after that 8 a.m. marker when you spent the first 2 hours in the market? What can you do from 8 a.m. to 12 or let's just break it down. What can you do from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. that's productive and helping you get better?
Well, and this is one of the problems I think with trading. Trading can be very profitable. But there's 3 reasons to be in business: money, meaning, and freedom. And impacting somebody's life is a huge part of the fulfillment I get in my work, because not only do I make money, but other people's lives are better as a result of it. And I think this is one of the things a lot of people are going towards, things like trading and Bitcoin and stuff like that, where you can make some money there, but it doesn't fill your heart, does it fill your soul? Are you actually making somebody's life better? And so I think for a lot of people, we want to kind of have all 3. The money's great, but it kind of feels yummy to go to sleep at night knowing that, I helped 9 people today improve their life. That's like part of the juice of the whole thing. And a lot of people don't get that. And so I think if you're chasing the money and the money alone, that gives you one piece of the puzzle. But man, when you do meaningful work and you improve somebody's life, and this is the stuff I help people do. I want you to imagine that that you're, most human beings are like a light bulb. We're scattered. We don't have much impact because we're not organized in a way for maximum impact. But the same energy of a laser beam is the same energy of a light bulb. What if you organized yourself in a way that you could show up in a big way and make people's lives like significantly better, and get paid for that? Then you wake up every day like you got your superpower cape on. I love what I do. I'm changing lives, and wow, they even pay me for this. So I think the goal is to get that money, meaning, and freedom, or the income, impact, and independence. That impact piece, that's the stuff that really gives you.
It comes from that feeling of focus. So I just finished reading a book by Jim Quick called Limitless, right? And in that he's talking about the different intelligence. Well, he's talking about a lot of stuff, but in one section he's talking about our intelligence and how there are many levels of intelligence, different types of intelligence. And he uses the analogy of we're all bright, and that's why when they refer to intelligence, they usually say, "Hey, that person's bright." And if you kind of think of that analogy, like when you go outside with a magnifying glass, right? The power of the sun is bright, and it's great, and it's useful, and it's beneficial. But if you really harness it, if you take that magnifying glass, you put it over that leaf, and you really harness that power of the sun and beam it down, like you're talking about, in this powerful focus, all of a sudden you're going to start seeing smoke. You're going to start seeing flames. It's going to really point. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what a lot of people miss out on. There's so much information today. There's so many things that we can learn. There's so many things that we can do. There's so many easy buttons we can hit that we lack the ability to focus, to really follow one course until successful, to get into the nitty gritty. We're looking for that instant gratification. If I do something and I didn't see an actual result that I was intending for that one moment, I walk away and go on to the next thing. And then we look back, a week later, and we didn't feel like we accomplished anything. A month goes by and it's worse. A year goes by and it's horrible. A decade goes by and you start really thinking about what my life has been like. What have I been doing? And you've been busy. You just haven't been focused.
And then next thing,
Yep, exactly.
Next thing you know, you're 6 feet under. If you're green, you grow. When you're green, you grow. When you're ripe, you rot. When you're blue, you're through.
I never heard that before. I like
nice.
That. That's good.
Yeah, and so we're given this life, and so why not build? This is, I think, the big challenge is we aren't focused on our one thing, and who gives us the guidance to figure out what your one thing is? There's a lot of people that'll sell you a course and say, sign up I will teach you how to be wealthy, selling my insurance, or I will teach you how to be wealthy selling my multi-level vitamins, or I will teach you how to be wealthy, be a sales rep for my solar company. But who's teaching you how to organize your magic into a business? And this is very unique work that I do. Because maybe you do sign up for somebody and you make money in someone else's business. It's really one of my friends, he says that making money in someone else's business is a little bit like wearing someone else's underwear. It might be a little kinky at first, but after a while, it just gets weird. So, so why would you want to, wear somebody else's underwear when you can custom fit your own crotch comforter? I don't know. Where does this go?
That's funny. I don't want to be wearing other people's underwear, but I see where we're going with that. I mean, it's the truth though. Like, when you were talking earlier about the whole happiness cycle and having that purpose, and we've been putting a lot of emphasis on making that buck and chasing that dollar. And one of the real benefits that I think that has happened due to the COVID situation is the world has slowed down, and it has allowed us to really pay attention to the things that are important to us. I was talking to a buddy of mine the other day, and he was like, hey man, we're talking about going out and doing different things that we haven't done in a long time. He's like, dude, I got a family of 5. We went out to eat the other day. The bill was $175. I sat back and I was like, holy crap. Like, that's the entire budget for me to go to the grocery store for like almost 2 weeks for my family. And I just blew it on one dinner. And if you really think about it, we were doing things like that on a regular basis. It was, you would go out at night and you'd have drinks, and there was 50, 60, 70 bucks. And, you were driving all over the place. You were filling your tank up every week. My tank's like $80 to fill up. Like, all these different things where you're just throwing money out the window. And it's habits that we have created for ourselves, things that we thought we needed in our life. And now we're able to kind of slow down and reevaluate what we want. It's giving us that idea, or at least a taste of what is important in life, and what, and it comes down to that happiness, right? To being able to say, when I wake up in the morning, I'm enjoying this purposeful life that I have, this family that I have, the time that I have here on earth, the people I'm surrounded with, my health, whatever it is that you're grateful for on a regular basis. And if we can take that same concept and do what you do, which is take that magic, that thing that I'm already good at, that I enjoy doing on a regular basis, how do I build a company around that? Now all of a sudden it's a little bit different, right? Now I'm not shooting for 7 figures. I'm shooting for waking up and being happy every day.
Yeah, and that's something, people always ask me, like, what's your goal for the year? What's your income goal? And it's like, I don't have an income goal. I have an impact goal.
Nice.
I want to help 100 people either start or grow their businesses. Now, if I do that, the money's there. I mean, that's $400,000 or $500,000 a year, but I'm not focused on the $400,000 or $500,000. I'm actually focused on changing lives, and the money comes with that, And so, I work with a coach, and he's a marketing expert for coaches, and his goal is to help 50 coaches get to the $1 million a year level. In their coaching practices. So it's really about changing those 50 lives, and that's the money's like secondary.
No, it's so true. I mean, to help 100 agents get to $10,000 a month. So it's that same thing. If I'm helping them, if I'm making their lives easier, making it easier for them to do business, then the money's going to roll in for me, no worries. But my focus is on making it easy for those agents that are part of me.
Yeah, and I think this is where, entrepreneurs are very different than employees. Employees are very selfish. They're doing it for me. I want a paycheck. I want a paycheck. I want to get, I'll give you that 40 hours in exchange for that paycheck. But entrepreneurs are different. We have to think about, the purpose of a business is to create a customer, to improve a customer's life, to add value to customers. We have to think about others. How can I, and this is one of the mistakes people make when they go into business, is they say, what do I need to say in order to get the sale? There's a lot of sales training around, like, say these magic words and people will buy from you. And I think that's the wrong approach. It's not about, stop looking for the magic words to say to get the sale, and start looking at, what do I need to give that's so darn valuable that people will pay me generously and gratefully? I have these mugs with my logo on it, and the other side is something I teach my clients is, I want everybody to say this: I will solve your problems and you will pay me generously and gratefully. And it's really about, I'm here to solve your problems first, and the money is connected to that on the other side. And so entrepreneurs, if you want to be successful as an entrepreneur, start looking at, what can I give in order to be a big contribution that's so darn valuable people will pay me generously. Because if you learn to give in a massive way, you're going to have to go get some bags to carry all the money in, that you'll be compensated because you are appreciated when you actually, make somebody's life better. People will pay. That's the secret to success. The
Joe,
secret, the secret to
I have a
living.
question for you. Oh, I'm so
Yes.
sorry. Question for you. What are your core values? Like, for me, my core values are freedom, positivity, vulnerability, adventure, and generosity. I have written these things out multiple times for myself. I know those are the things that define me. What are your core values?
I think, contribution, compassion, kindness, making a difference in people's lives. I just know I'm a massive contribution to the people I serve. I really am here to help people. I'm a stand for self-reliance over employer reliance. That's really one of the big things is, uh, if you want to take charge of your life, you need to look at the person in the mirror. And we live in such an employer reliant culture where people are like, oh, I need money, so therefore I need to go get a job. So I basically, and so I'm really, we've taught kids, go to school, get a good education, and become somebody else's bitch. And that program doesn't make sense to me at all. My core values, stop working for the man, be the man.
Mm.
And so I think it's
That's
self-reliant.
That's
Huge.
something that you're absolutely right. That's something, I mean, when you phrase it like that, it's funny that we laugh at it, but we laugh at it because it's true. Because of the fact that you are being trained to go be an employee. You're not really being taught to express your creativity in a way that's productive for you. Even things like where you said earlier, you were saying, you should be giving. Well, most people think of giving as, here is a can of soup because you're hungry. Here is, here's a jacket because you're cold. There's more ways to give than just giving of things, right? There's when you were talking about problems, I mean, you've said before, and I've heard you say this, there are two types of problems, the ones people will pay to be solved and the ones that they won't, right? And there are problems when you're giving, you're literally, as a good salesman, you're really asking questions to figure out what problems your clients have and how well you can be of service to solve those problems. That's what you're giving. You're giving solutions to their problems. And if you can find problems that not only your one client has, but many people have, and you can provide a quality solution for that, that's where you develop real wealth. But it comes from solving a problem. It comes from asking tough questions. It comes from really identifying who you are as an individual and what your strengths are and how you can apply them to the problems that other people have.
Totally. How can I show up as a, see, this is the thing we need to look at how can I give somebody's, your whole life, you've been taught by other people. I believe children are born as geniuses and then conditioned into mediocrity. So the moment you're born, you're a genius, and then your parents tell you what to think, and the government tells you what to think, and religion tells you what to think, and newspapers and magazines, and we go to the movies and TV, it all tells us what to think. And at some point we need to start asking, well, what do I love? What am I about? And we start to develop, oh, I'm interested in this and I'm interested in that. And so we have all these different aspects, which are wonderful. Then we just, if we want to turn that into a business, we need to start saying, how can I take all of the stuff God has given me and organize it into one thing? And this is what's beautiful is, if you really want to succeed in business, you don't need to do 100 things. You just need to kind of do about 4 or 5 things. You need to do one thing and do one thing well. I'm a world-class business coach. I got clients in Kuwait and in the Hague in the Netherlands. I've got clients in India. I've got clients in Scotland. And I got a few clients in the US. I probably have more clients internationally than I do here. But, other people in other countries think, America is the land of opportunity. You can start your own business. You can get rich. But our own people from our own country are still thinking, gosh, if I just go get a good job, my life will be okay. And clearly that stuff is getting mixed up. So, yeah, the name of the game is to tap into your inner genius and then organize it. And one thing, if you do one thing well, if you do one thing in a big way, then that is enough. One abundant stream of income is plenty. A lot of people are chasing multiple streams, and it sounds sexy, but what I've learned is there's kind of two kind of people in the multiple streams camp. One kind, they say, well, I have 5 streams of income. One is their job, and the other 4 are like little businesses that don't work. So they're doing 5 things, and 4 out of 5 are very ineffective. The other side is I meet people that say, I have 5 streams of business. So they got this business and then this business, and they're making money in all 5 businesses. And those people, what I see with them is they're such slaves to their 5 different businesses that their wife doesn't get attention. And so she ends up banging the pool guy because she's not getting the love she needs, because this guy's supporting 5 different businesses. So why not do one business and do one thing well and then have free time? The purpose of business is not to become a slave to making money. The purpose of business is to create more life for you and the people you love. And, if you just get started, you don't need a lot of money. I just need money for me. My needs are not that big. But then you decide to take on a wife, guess what? Your needs grow. And then you have kids, your needs grow. And then you want to give a little bit back to your little community. Okay. At some point, maybe you want to make enough to actually be a philanthropist and do some supreme spiritual work by giving back and, cutting some checks for food for the food kitchen.
Yep.
So
he called me out. He called me out.
Yeah. Right. Hey, Bonnie. Bonnie's hooking us up with some Business Bros masks. She's coming in hot. Can't wait to get those. Nice. When you talk about that whole, your needs are growing, right? Your income needs grow. I was listening to Billy Jean. Billy Jean has a podcast here in San Diego. Yeah. He's hilarious. Have you ever listened to his podcast? I mean, I love his stuff. And he was talking about how if you had the most replenishable source of energy for your business is money. It's the one thing that you're always worried about, and you're always cutting expenses and you're always trying to save, but it's the one thing that you can replenish quite easily if you go out and provide a service to somebody else, right? And you're able to go out and do that. And and one episode that I was listening to, he was talking about, remember when you first got into business and you had this idea in your head and all you could think about was how rich you were going to be, how much money you were going to make, what kind of lifestyle you're going to live, who you were going to be. And then reality comes into the picture and you hear no a couple times and you stumble and you fumble and you fall a little bit. And then you start rationalizing with yourself. Well, I really don't need that fancy car. Well, I really don't need that nice suit. I really don't need, and you kind of start rationalizing until you get to a point where you're limiting yourself from your own potential to earn. You stopped yourself. You decided you can't make that call. Not that you will. You told yourself, I can't. I don't have time to. I don't do that. I don't, over and over and over again. And then you look back and you're wondering, man, why am I struggling? Why haven't I been able to do this? You haven't decided that you wanted to.
They're self-imposed. We do it to ourselves.
So funny, tying 2 ideas together, Joe. You were talking about, limiting yourself, and at some point you want to get to a point where you're just a philanthropist. And Nan, you're talking about how a lot of times in business we shrink our expectations after disappointments. Recently, my expectations have gone much further. Do you remember what our number is?
For which
our goal number?
The 30,000 a month goal?
30,000 a month. Yeah, I decided add an extra 0. Well,
why not?
It was nothing. So, but this is I want to actually give away $200 a month and just keep 30 for myself. But that's my plan, like to help somebody, help some things, help different causes, because I don't need a ton. But if I can make that much kind of an impact, that kind of a difference where I'm giving away $250,000 every month to some kind of organization that's making lives better around the world, around the country, whatever, that's what I really want to do. That's what's driving me right now.
And it feels good when you do that stuff. It feels good when you help people that are down and out. It feels good.
Heck yeah.
And so we need to, there's like two parts of our life. There's a temporal part and a spiritual part. We need to succeed at both. If you're real good at making the money, but you're not helping others, you can be very temporally wealthy, but if you don't have that spiritual stuff, you're going to be very unhappy. The other side is you can be very you can work at the soup kitchen, you can help people that are down and out, but if you don't succeed on that temporal part, if you don't make a solid income, it's kind of hard to write those big checks to help feed those hungry people. So we need to succeed in our temporal part of our life to fund our spiritual endeavors. If we succeed financially, we can become, spiritual rock stars in terms of our philanthropy and giving. And but we can also be very giving, with not a dime in our pocket, but it's better if we can thrive and we can take care of the people we love and help other people around us, because that stuff is yummy. It's like, it feels really good to help.
That's
somebody.
the fuel to the soul,
For
man.
sure.
That's
It
the
is.
true. I mean, it's if there's two lives that you could be living. There's a life that you have right now. If you don't like Mondays, you wish it was Friday or Saturday every single day. You haven't been doing what you should be doing. It's not your purpose. It's not your drive. It's not your passion.
Yeah, Monday's what your job does.
Yeah, exactly. But
I'm one of those freaks that Monday's like my favorite day of the week.
Yeah,
I
well,
love it.
yeah, because you get to go back to doing that thing that you love to do on a regular basis. That's a different mindset, and that's what we hope. That's what I hope I can instill in people. That's what Joe hopes that he can do with people, is help them find that thing inside of them that you can monetize. Right? I mean, that's really the key.
I got so much fulfillment because, there's a lot of business coaches that'll basically say, if you're making $10K a month, I'll be your business coach and I'll teach you how to get to $20K a month. And I work with those people. I do that all day long. But I work with people that are making $0 a month. I take people and say, okay, people think, oh, it takes money to make money. That's not true. It doesn't take money to make money. It takes customers to make money. And if you go get a customer today, you can have money today.
There you go.
It's really that straight up. But if you think it takes money to make money, no wonder you're struggling, because you're focusing on the wrong thing. You're looking at the receiving part and you're not focused on the giving part. But if you focus on how can I give to people, and solve their problems, then they will pay me gratefully and generously if I organize it the right way. And you know what? A lot of people fail in business because they were never taught the right way to do this stuff. Entrepreneurship as something to teach and learn and apply and actually make work is a failure. I was asked to speak to 50 people that all had bachelor's, master's, and PhDs. The one common thing they had in common is they were all unemployed. Okay. And I was there to talk to them about marketing and selling themselves to get their next job. And they said, Joe, we don't have trouble finding a job. We have trouble finding a job in the stuff we learned at the university.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, there is no committee to create a dream job for James. There is no committee to create a dream job for Hernan. If you want to, where is the committee for a dream job for Hernan? In the mirror.
It's right here.
It's in your mirror.
Right here. It's sitting right here.
In the mirror. There's nobody else in charge of that. So I asked two questions. The first question was, if you can't find a dream job out there, how many of you would like to someday, one day, create your dream job as an entrepreneur?
There you
About 60% of the hands went up. But here's the real stinger. My buddy behind me, Jason, he's going, ask him how many are afraid. I go, how many of you are afraid of starting your own business? Like every hand in the room went up. And I'm like, this is America, the land of opportunity. What's wrong with this picture? Like everybody in America can start a business if they want. And yet I've got a room of educated people that are petrified with the idea of starting their business. So
because each and every one of them has been working their whole life for this thing called an A, and they've associated failure with negative aspects of their life, not being able to advance, something they get ridiculed for, something they get grounded for, something that's unacceptable. And because they have that stigma with failure, when you ask them who wants to start a business, it's not how many of them, it's not that they're afraid to start, it's that they're afraid to make a mistake, any mistake, regardless of what it is.
Well, we've all had failure. And, although I've learned my most powerful lessons through my failures, not through my successes. Okay. But I don't want anybody to have to go through the crap I had to go through.
No, of course not.
Lessons. It was painful. The class yell for the School of Hard Knocks is ouch.
Yep.
And so this is really the paradox. I call it the entrepreneur paradox. On the one hand, everybody wants a business and wants to prosper. But on the other hand, you got a bunch of people that are scared shitless to start a business. And if you're scared, if you're afraid, if you're thinking that business is risky and 9 out of 10 businesses fail, think 9 out of 10 businesses fail. Why should I try? Business is risky. Warren Buffett says risk comes from not knowing what you're doing. And we come from an education system that doesn't teach us what we're doing, how to do it right. Nobody teaches us how to choose the right business for James's personality. And then once you figure it out, then you got to figure out the branding, and then you got to figure out, well, what's my offer and what's my storytelling, and how do I promote it? And everybody thinks that online is the only way to promote, and it's not. And then how do I close this? So there's a lot of pieces, but if you learn those basics, if you choose a good business, if you brand it well, if you have a good offer, if you've got good storytelling, if you promote it and get it out there, people will raise their hand. If you nurture those relationships, you will close sales, and you will live in abundance. But if you failed, it's not your fault because nobody taught you, including the school system. The school system gets a big fat F for failure, for not teaching people how to succeed as an entrepreneur.
Well, ladies and gents, that's exactly why you need to go to www.employeeescapeplan.com. Reach out to Joe, sit down, have a conversation with him. I promise you sit down, you talk about it. This is the cool thing about Joe, and hopefully you guys got it out of the show, is when you talk to him, he's going to listen to you, and he's going to ask you about you, and he's going to figure out what you want to do. And then we create that golden plan to help you out. So go to employeeescapeplan.com, check them out. Joe, thank you very much for coming on the show. Really
wait.
appreciate
Speaking of you, sir.
Speaking of... It's tomorrow.
If we're actually gonna have a show tomorrow, because I'm taking you somewhere in the afternoon, and we got a little thing planned. I don't know if that was supposed to be a surprise or not, so I just fucked it up. But all right, cool. But anyway, so we may or may not have a show tomorrow. Want to tell you happy birthday now, Joe. Thanks for joining us and giving her on that birthday shout out. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gents. Peace.
I was about to steal you.
And we're out.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me back.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you for listening to the Business Bros Podcast. Are you looking to get more clients or to increase your income? Hernan, the business bro, can help you generate referrals through the power of podcasting. And James, the insurance bro with Pipeline Insurance, can help you effectively add insurance to your existing business. If you are ready to create wealth today and generational wealth for tomorrow, email businessbros@csfirst.com to schedule a free consultation, or join the Business Bros Network, www.businessbros.biz.